Hi guys, welcome back to the Shift RSA, and today you join me in a very special car. Today we are reviewing a Fiat Uno Turbo. This is a Mach 2. I've really only ever seen one or two examples of clean Uno Turbos around, and today we actually have three. So let's get the headline figures out the way. This car makes 85 kilowatts at the crank and 161 newton meters, which doesn't sound like a lot, but considering the age of this car and considering how much it weighs, is quite a good bit of power. And that power comes to us via a 1.4 liter turbo with a 5-speed manual box. Okay, so first impressions of the car. For me, this car, the moment I saw it, the first thing that came into my head was time machine. I promise you, getting into this car is like being teleported to a different time. It's like being teleported to the 90s, and I think the 90s was quite a cool era. I think we got a lot of cool things from the 90s. The design elements in here, in the dashboard, the seats, the steering wheel design, especially the layout of the instrument cluster, I really dig that. It's such a throwback. It's very cool to be in here. I'm quite a sentimental person, and I can get so nostalgic sometimes when I think back to what I would consider to be a simpler time. And when I think back to the 90s, even though I was only this small, I do feel like the 90s was such a cool time to be alive. I feel like things were simple back then, and I feel like, I feel like things got complicated along the way. And I feel like this is back to basics motoring, if that makes sense. I feel like it's a reminder of a time when the sole purpose of a car was to put a smile on your face. This car, at least. I really have to take my hat off to Neville, the owner of this car, for really looking after this thing and doing it justice and really making sure that it stays clean and stays... I promise you, it looks like this car rolled off the factory floor. It looks that new in here, and that's incredible. The dashboard, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. This beautiful Momo steering wheel. You just don't get cars that are looked after the same way this one is. So, one thing I can immediately tell you about the power delivery, this is very definitely a 90s turbocharged car, if that makes sense. There's nothing and nothing and nothing, and then bah, it just knocks you. I can't imagine what the first 911 turbos must have felt like if this was the way the power came in from the turbo. It's very off, and then it's on, and then you really have to hold on to the steering wheel, because believe it or not, it will try and sort of pull the steering wheel out of your hands with that torque steer. So obviously there's no power steering in here, and I don't really mind that too much. It is a small car, and it does tend to feel bigger than it is because of that, only when you're maneuvering in and out of spaces. But once you get going, you sort of appreciate that, because it does give you the opportunity to sort of wrestle it back into line, if that makes sense. Actually, do you know what? I'm feeling a bit cramped in here. It's a bit of a small car. Hey!
What's up?
Listen, do you want to review this car?
You want to what?
Do you want to review it?
Cool.
Okay.
20 minutes later.
Alright, hello there everyone. I'm Cameron. I've been asked by Jean to come and review this car. So I'm going to give it a go, see how things go, and have some fun in the meanwhile. Today we have been given the privilege of driving this fantastic, fully original 1992 Uno Turbo. One of the cars that follows the fantastic recipe of the classic Golf GTIs, Fiesta STs, all of those fantastic cars. Beautiful little car, definitely punches way above its weight class. One of the cars that I basically am 99% sure has fueled my love for turbocharged vehicles, and little powerhouses that basically punch way above their weight class. Little crackers, little underdogs, cars that are underrated by everyone but have massive potential, and hurt feelings all over the country. So we're going to run through, I should say, a couple of specifications that Jean has already covered, and just basically give my side of the story. As I previously mentioned, with the Well, with this car following that recipe of the Golf GTIs, Fiesta STs, the older Peugeots, etc, etc, it is definitely the power to weight ratio, in my opinion, that makes the major difference here. This car, as Johnny mentioned already, is sitting at about 85 kilowatts, insert horsepower here, and that definitely, in my opinion, makes for a fantastic little package. Amazing power for a car that weighs less than a ton. Nearest makes no difference, 900 kgs. 0 to 100 in about 7.7 seconds. If you keep going with that, it will end off at about 200 km an hour. And that, considering that it was made in 1992, is an amazing feat. Nowadays, those numbers don't sound like a lot, but with the combination of the lightweight, as I previously mentioned, it makes for an amazing, incredible little package and a lot of fun to drive. One of the things that did make itself immediately apparent with this car is that the lack of power steering, which nowadays is in every car pretty much. Whereas with this, it's obviously not here, which isn't a major issue. It just makes for parking a little bit difficult. Pulling into your parking spots, trying to maneuver the small maneuvers when the car isn't moving very fast, makes that a bit of a chore. However, when you are at pace, when you are moving, it is very nice to have. Very little movement, very little input needs to be put into the steering for it to make a major difference on the road. Also, with having the power steering not in the car, you have a lot more of a connection to that road. You feel everything. Everything comes through the steering into your hands, and I feel personally connects you a hell of a lot more to what the road is doing, what the car is doing, which I love. I think it's fantastic. One little thing I just realized now, which is actually a little gimmicky. Gimmicky maybe not the right term, but even the bigger cars nowadays, or the smaller cars I should say, have two windscreen wipers, just to put into context there, where this has one average size windscreen wiper that covers the entire span of the windscreen, which kind of puts it into context how small this car actually is, as this has stuck to that recipe, where it's dynamite in small packages. That's, for lack of a better term, it's lightweight, and the 1.4 turbocharged transversely mounted motor packs quite a punch. Okay, it is definitely an on or off sensation. It is definitely all or nothing. And if you can hear from how the engine picks up there, it is definitely on or off. Quite a nice sensation actually. I really enjoy the older type of turbo setups where it's like an on or off switch, all or nothing essentially. Very nice. The pickup was actually a nice little surprise there. The gear lever is nice and notchy. You can definitely feel when you're in gear. There's no wondering about whether it's in first or second or third or fourth. It definitely has a nice kind of tactile feeling when you go into gear. Very nice feeling. I love that kind of positive reinforcement when it goes click and then you know you're in gear. It's just a nice feeling to know, okay, I'm in. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens from here. Unfortunately, at the moment it is raining, so I can't give it a full go, but I'll definitely see if I can roll onto it a little bit and give it another go there. I can't go completely mad, but obviously just for safety's sake. But I'll definitely see if I can make a little space just now and give it another pull, and just to see how it goes. Try that little on or off sensation once again. That is very nice. I really enjoy that when that turbo kicks in, and I just saw now it's got to this gauge cluster. It's fantastic. You can see exactly when the turbo kicks in. Amazing. Really enjoy it. And obviously, just in case all of you were wondering, oh, got a nice little Subi there. Just in case all of you or any of you are wondering, of course Johnny didn't pick me up off the side of the road. Well, physically he did, but yeah, this is something that has been planned. I'm not some random, for lack of a better term, off the side of the road. Something Johnny and I have been chatting about for a while now, and I've been given the privilege to join the crew. I'm Cameron. Some of you might know me, some of you might not. Also a bit of a petrol head. Right, so this is where that no power steering comes in. As you can see, I've built up quite a sweat trying to get to the parking spot that we're ending up on. Otherwise, it's a fantastic drive, and I'm looking forward to the future of what this channel can bring to you and what we can do for the channel. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Don't stress about it, dude.
Okay, lekker, Jana. The car's still fine, everything's still fine, don't stress.
Okay.